PARKER-GENIX. That's the name of an all-new company we will be meeting in Jurassic World Rebirth, and might even be the company responsible for the creation of this crazy-looking mutant. The character of Martin Krebs works for this pharmaceutical engineering company, and the company itself is spearheading the mission to retrieve the dinosaur DNA from this island. In this video, I'm going to explain everything we have learned so far about this new company, examine if they were responsible for the mutant and how that would work, and theorize on their relation to InGen, to John Hammond, and to the original Jurassic Park.
This would be a medical breakthrough that could save countless lives. It comes from the largest dinosaurs on the planet.
Oh my god.
So what is PARKER-GENIX? First spotted by Jay Malone at Universal Orlando, this Jurassic World Rebirth merchandise stand recently went up at the parks and displays shirts and hats donning the Rebirth logo, but there are also a series of crates as part of this display that show the company logo and name, PARKER-GENIX, Pharmaceutical Engineering. Thanks to Jurassic Yearbook, we also have a closer look at this logo, and our very own Alex recreated it, giving us this. There is currently a lot floating around about this new company, including a website that was claiming to be the in-universe site. I'm going to break all of that down here and also figure out how this company fits into the current timeline. So far, we know that PARKER-GENIX is the pharmaceutical company that Martin Krebs represents. The same company is responsible for funding this mission and supplying gear, it would appear, in a similar way to how InGen funded the mission in The Lost World.
It says InGen on the side of that chopper. I don't get that. Why would Hammond said 2 teams?
These black crates display the PARKER-GENIX logo, but we notice that same logo on Zora Bennett's gun. If you zoom in closely, you'll see the PG logo right here. Some of that lettering is scratched off, but you can also see those 4 squares that make up part of the logo. Interestingly, the crates at Universal Orlando displayed 3 squares above the logo, land, sea, and air. The plot summary of Rebirth tells us that they need to extract DNA samples from the 3 most colossal creatures, one of land, one of sea, and one of air. We believe these dinosaurs to be the Titanosaurus, the Mosasaurus, and the Quetzalcoatlus, 3 prehistoric creatures that we saw in the trailer. So PARKER-GENIX are supplying not only the weaponry, but the crate that stores the DNA samples, and very likely the boat that we saw in the trailer. It's clear that this pharmaceutical engineering company has the funds, the technology, and the power to organize such a mission, and it makes you wonder how high up the chain Martin Krebs really is. Is he the CEO of this company, or much like Dodgson in the novel, somebody who worked their way to, say, head of research, or a position like that? Anyway, this 4 square or 3 square logo is interesting because if you remember the photos of the slate, you can see these same 3 squares. The working title for Rebirth was Saga, and it's now becoming clear what the 3 squares represented. They represent the mission, land, sea, and air. The Jurassic World Wrap Party also featured cocktails called Land, Sea, and Air. So where does the name come from? I'm sure Rebirth will make some of that clear to us, but fans will recognize the name Parker. This is John Hammond's middle name, at least according to the video game Trespasser.
My name is John Parker Hammond. I was born on March 14th, 1928.
GENIX appears to be an abbreviation of genetics, but what's the inspiration for Parker? It makes you wonder if this company has some sort of connection to the John Parker Hammond that we know, and potentially his original work. In the current timeline, Fallen Kingdom's Mills gave John Hammond's middle name as Alfred.
John Alfred Hammond, the father of Jurassic Park. But of course you know that.
This could have been an oversight, especially given that the on-set prop actually featured the name Parker on it, but that line did make it into the final cut of the film, whereas the video games generally aren't considered to be movie canon, although Trespassers certainly is up for debate.
About 20, 17, 15, 12.
Perhaps it was always the intention for Mills to give him the wrong name. The video game Trespasser featured the voice of Richard Attenborough himself returning as John Hammond and expanded the lore of Site B, InGen's factory floor. It doesn't mess with the movie canon, especially at the time of release in 1998. If nothing, it expands upon it and revealed the ancient temples that remained on Sorna. With Rebirth featuring ancient temple ruins and returning to, quote, the island, we speculated for a long time about a return to Site B for this movie. But despite the similarities, it's now being confirmed, thanks to this trailer, that this is a completely different island, one that was actually John Hammond's original research facility before Site B. So many might consider Trespasser canon, and it was the game that gave us the name John Parker Hammond, but until we learn more, we won't know the origins of that Parker name. Anyway, let's take a look at the companies in the Jurassic franchise and see where PARKER-GENIX might fit in. In the Jurassic Park franchise, there are a handful of companies responsible for the de-extinction of prehistoric animals, the main of course being InGen, the company founded by John Hammond and Benjamin Lockwood in the 70s. It is believed that 1986 saw the successful cloning of the first prehistoric animal, and in 1987 the company began construction on Jurassic Park on the island of Isla Nublar. After the disaster of Jurassic Park and the subsequent events that followed in 1997, the company remained with John Hammond until his passing in 98, where Simon Masrani bought the company out and aimed to fulfill John Hammond's original dream. We know, of course, how that ultimately went down, and it is currently not truly known where InGen are or if the company is even in operation after the fall of Jurassic World. We are, however, supposedly learning more about their history with Rebirth, this new island being their original research facility, which would place it either in the 70s or 80s. Biosyn Genetics are another genetic engineering company similar to InGen, founded in 1977 and ultimately run by Lewis Dodgson by the time that we saw him in Dominion. In the very first Jurassic Park, we meet Lewis Dodgson as he pays a Jurassic Park staff worker, Dennis Nedry, to smuggle dinosaur embryos off the island for his company Biosyn. That plan obviously goes awry, but in Dominion, we meet the company in full, who stayed further off the radar in the world, but have risen to prominence in recent years. They now own a giant compound in the Dolomite Mountains and have global collection rights to the dinosaurs that have spread across the globe at that point in time. Aside from those two companies, we also have Manticore. This company comes from the Jurassic World animated show Camp Cretaceous. This company is another bioengineering company who used blackmail and espionage to acquire InGen and Masrani's genetic work on the island and housed their own facility on their own island, Manticore Island. So the idea of rival genetics companies is nothing new, and it is unclear at this moment in time where PARKER-GENIX lies. Are they another company bringing back dinosaurs, or are they just a pharmaceutical company? Either works, but something tells me there may be even more sinister motives behind this company. If the company is breeding dinosaurs, then where are they doing it? Have they been in operation since the 70s or 80s, or are they a relatively new company? There's one theory that's certainly interested, first spotted by Sicky T. Take a look at this. The same three triangles might be visible down here on this large tank, the one that houses that mutant. It's not the easiest to make out, but it does appear to be the same symbol. So what does that mean? The implications could be rather interesting for what we currently know about the Rebirth plot, namely, did PARKER-GENIX create this creature? And is it a combination of land, sea, and air DNA?
Come on!
This large lettering next to it, many believe is the InGen logo, but that might not be true. We only really see the N and part of the letter that comes before that. It could be something else entirely, and just a coincidence that it kind of looks like the InGen logo, which could mean that this giant machine tank thing might not be part of an old InGen facility, instead something new by PARKER-GENIX. If they really did create the mutant or have some involvement in its creation, then what are their true intentions? And by that, what is the ulterior motive of Martin Krebs? I have a theory going that his mission has two goals. One, collect the DNA, and two, re-establish contact with the lab. What if the lab went silent? And what about that website? If you go to PARKER-GENIX.com, you'll see the logo and the text, "The key lies in the code of life." A DNA sequence-like code then appears. It's missing one of the normal bases for a DNA molecule, but that's besides the point. The website appears to be an attempt to capitalize on the viral marketing tie-in that we saw for the Jurassic World trilogy. I can confirm that it's not an official Universal registered website. It was registered very recently on Namecheap.com on the 10th of Feb and is privately registered. Universal websites all list something to do with NBC Universal or just Universal themselves. Even Dominion's tie-in viral marketing site dinotracker.com, the name servers are Universal's own and the registrant info isn't hidden, it's not private, it's fully written out as Universal's. The code for the website also shows nothing hidden, but honestly this is fun. It's great to see efforts like this, as I believe this shows the true excitement that fans have for the movie. What are your thoughts on PARKER-GENIX? Do you think they are cloning dinosaurs? Share those thoughts and any else you might have down below in the comments.